As the November 7th presidential election date draws closer, it is quite evident that Mark Golding is extremely confident. He believes that he can take over the leadership reins of the People's National Party on the 7th of November. Mark Golding will be nominated today, October 23, 2020, and he will go up against Hanna for the post of President of the People's National Party. According to Mark Golding, I can beat Hanna. We have been working very hard on the ground, and as you are well aware, we have been very active in social media to raise my profile. This is the first time that Mark Golding will be vying for a national position of leadership since his political career started in 2017. Mark Golding is 55 years old and is a very successful lawmaker and investment banker. According to Mark, when I saw what was happening to the party and the fact that Dr. Peter Phillips was resigning, I decided that I have the skill sets and the necessary approach that is required to move the party forward at this time. Mark Golding is currently the St. Andrew Southern Member of Parliament. Based on information coming out of an internal poll that was commissioned by the People's National Party in September 2020, the indication is that Hanna, who is currently the Member of Parliament for Southeastern Senan, was the most favored candidate among the respondents and voters. Among the 14 PNP Member of Parliaments, it showed that 34% of these respondents stated that Hanna was the best suited candidate for the job of President of the People's National Party. Hanna also had the support of 43% of PNP delegates, compared to a 21% that indicated that Golding had their support. Mark Golding reasoned that the polls were conducted prior to him declaring his candidacy, but stated that since then, significant work has been done to introduce him to the public. I expect that the next poll, when it is done, will reflect the results of that effort. It is not about a poll anyway, it's about who the delegates want to choose to lead the People's National Party. And the delegates are seasoned political individuals who love their party and will be making the choice that they think is best for the future of the People's National Party. Golding further went on to state that his primary focus at this time was gathering more support from PNP delegates across Jamaica. We are not leaving anyone out. I have been meeting with delegates across Jamaica, and those meetings will continue, and obviously making telephone calls to make contact with these persons. That is the basis on which we are able to assess how we stand currently, and that is why I am able to say that I am confident of victory. Golding's campaign director, Dr. Angela Brown Burke, has stated that the team would keep driving the message of what a Golding presidency would bring. The issue around unity, how we work together and settle our differences, and how we make sure that we understand the goal, which is the lifting up of the Jamaican people surrounding social justice and equality of opportunities. He is ideally placed to be that person who will lead that charge. We only have to look at his record so far and his entire performance. In the interim, campaign spokesperson Patricia Duncan Sutherland has disclosed that she is expecting a higher voter turnout for the election, which is just over 2 weeks away. It is a much smaller group, so we can be in touch with them directly, stated Patricia Duncan Sutherland. Mark Golding and his team are extremely confident, and they are focused on the goal. And the goal is victory at the presidential elections on November 7, 2020. Of course, Mark Golding and his campaign team will be heading to the nomination center today so that he can be nominated for the People's National Party's presidential candidacy. Of course, many supporters of People's National Party's presidential candidate Mark Golding have been given a boost after the release of the preliminary list of delegates, which indicates that he has very strong support. Mark Golding will be nominated today in order for him to contest the November 7th election for the PNP's presidential job, and he will face off with Lisa Hanna, who was recently nominated on Wednesday, October 21st. Of course, this is only less than 48 hours after she mentioned that she enjoys the support of 10 out of the party's sitting members of parliament, and of course 63 of the 97 councillors within the People's National Party. Based on information and that statement that would have been made by Hanna, it seems that she is sure of victory, but now only time will tell who will be the next president of the People's National Party. Of course, on November 7, 2020, we will know who the delegates chose. We will know if they chose to give Lisa Hanna the presidency of the People's National Party, or if they chose to give the post to Mark Golding. Of course, that time is November 7, 2020, and that date will tell it all. Both Lisa Hanna and Mark Golding are extremely confident. If based on the supporters of Mark Golding, they believe that the PNP list of delegates indicate that he has very strong support, and if based on Ms. Hanna's assessment, she believes that she has support coming from all of 10 out of 14 members of parliament and all of 63 councillors out of 97 councillors, well, you can see that both candidates are exuding confidence to the core. And of course, both of these persons are expected to win. But who will know who the winner is? We will not know until November 7th. And only one person can take the presidential post of the People's National Party. Information coming from Mark Golding's campaign director, Angela Brown-Burke, has minimized the significance of those statements and numbers that have been given by Lisa Hanna about her support base. Angela Brown-Burke has advised that when Portia Simpson Miller was elected as the president of the People's National Party in 2006, she was supported by about 3 of the sitting MPs at the time. She further went on to highlight that the inclusive nature of the Golding campaign means that support will be coming from delegates on the ground, and this support will be very strong. It is looking very good, and we have done our numbers, but it is never done until election day. We are checking the draft delegates list, and we know that there will be objections, corrections, and changes, but we are comfortable with what we have seen so far. In a campaign all the way up to election day, there will be supporters, there will be those in the middle, and there will be those undecided. Who are we continuing to work with on the ground? The People's National Party Secretariat recently released the draft delegates list on Tuesday, with approximately 3,300 comrades eligible to vote in the poll to elect the party's 6th president. The final list is scheduled to be released on October 30th, 2020. According to sources from Mark Golding's presidential campaign team, they are expecting that changes will be made to the list, and they also pointed out that the delegate-rich support that is enjoyed by many of Mark Golding's critical supporters, which includes that of Peter Bunting, Dayton Campbell, Lothan Cousins, and Angela Brown-Burke, will also help him in the November 7th presidential polls. If these critical supporters can convince the majority of their delegates to support them in their bid to ensure that Mark Golding becomes the next president of the People's National Party, then victory will be sure for Mark Golding. Among some of those supporters of Mark Golding with strong delegate support are former MP Mark Golding, supported during the 2019 presidential elections, Member of Parliament Peter Bunting, There is also Dayton Campbell, who is a former member of parliament for Northwest Senan. There is also Fenton Ferguson and Colin Fagan. There are 100 delegates that would support Peter Bunting. 77 would be in support of Dayton Campbell. Fenton Ferguson would have all of 88, and Colin Fagan would have all of 82. And these persons are critical supporters of the Mark Golding presidential campaign. And if they can convince their respective delegates to throw their support behind Mark Golding, then victory is definitely a surety for Mark Golding on November 7, 2020. Current Member of Parliaments that support Mark Golding include Lothan Cousins with 70 delegates, Brown Burke with 117 delegates, and Anthony Hilton with 36 delegates. However, it should be noted that despite the number of delegates in the constituency that is represented by the Golding supporters, Angela Brown Burke has stated that the campaign team is still working on the ground to garner more support. If the PNP, that has long recognized that their leaders are of extreme importance, and they know that they can never take the delegates for granted. Lisa Hanna has also argued that she will get support from delegates in some of the constituencies represented by Golding supporters. Lisa Hanna's expectations include support from Angela Brown Burke's St. Andrews Southwestern constituency, where she has been endorsed by Audrey Smith-Facey. As the nomination process continues today, Golding is confident that the time has come for him to put himself forward for the leadership position of the People's National Party. According to Golding, I think that I bring to the table the range of skill sets and attributes and approach that the People's National Party needs at this time. So it is really out of a sense of duty to Jamaica, because I regard the PNP as a very important political institution in Jamaica, and I have a sense of duty to my party that I am putting myself up. A few weeks ago, Mark Golding rejected the assumption and the insinuation that he was merely challenging for the post of presidency to allow Peter Bunting to take over the leadership of the party as soon as he had acquired the leadership reins. Many persons blaming the Rise United team's challenge against the One PNP team in 2019, where Bunting went up against Phillips to take over the presidency of the People's National Party, for the current People's National Party's humiliating loss to the Jamaica Labour Party in the September 3rd general elections, where the PNP lost all of 15 of the seats that they had secured in the previous elections. Of course, they were only able to take 14 seats to the Jamaica Labour Party's 49 seats. But according to Mark Golding, the Rise campaign is over. The One PNP campaign is over. And indeed, we have to put those things behind us on consignment to history, because the fact is that this challenge that we have is the lingering effect of many years of internal contests, which have affected the cohesiveness and the unity within the People's National Party. Further went on to state that he really had to make a brave effort to indicate that he is doing this as Mark Golding, with a sense of duty and a sense of purposefulness and a passion for the party that he believes in. The Jamaica that I love. That is why I am doing this. He further went on to state that the factionalism and divisions that exist in the People's National Party in the past must come to an end. He further stated that we must move beyond that, and I am running a campaign of unity, a campaign of rebuilding, and of coming together under one big tent as the People's National Party's family. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do you agree that Mark Golding will be able to secure victory at the November 7th presidential polls? Or do you believe that Lisa Hanna, with her massive support coming from 10 of the Member of Parliaments who are currently seated in the House of Representatives for the opposition, will be able to secure victory along with the 63 councillors who will be supporting her. She's also expecting that support will be coming from many of the constituencies that are led by critical supporters of the Golden campaign. Now we can only wait and see, and wait and see is what we will do. But Mark Golding will be nominated today, and we will see the support that will be thrown behind his campaign as well. Both teams continue to work on the ground to garner more support from the PNP delegates. Well, of course, remember to subscribe and share the content. Thanks for watching.